Um, where is? Oh, hi. Hi, guys. I had to look for the assignment. So this is a homework help for 8-3, the first day's lesson. Okay, finding the percent of a number. Um, okay, so let us go ahead and start. But before I have you start, um, there are mainly two ways to find the percent of a number. The first method is to write and solve using a percent proportion, okay? And the second way is to use just multiplying by the decimal, okay? However, because multiplying by the decimal is really easy, I'm only going to ask you to do that on 4 of the problems on on numbers 11 through 22. Everything else I want you to use the percent proportion. I am not going to solve every single problem. However, I will try to do a few examples. Now, so with that said, the ones that I would like for you to use this multiplying by the decimal are the following. Number 14, number 16, 18, and 20. And the reason is this. For those 4 problems, no matter what you do, if you try to do it using a percent proportion method, the numbers do not divide evenly, so you get a repeating decimal, okay? Or non-terminating decimal. So it's really not a good way to do so. On those problems, you're gonna use the multiplying by the decimal method. But you definitely need to know how to do the percent proportion for the next lessons coming up. So except for those 4, I want you to practice percent proportion, okay? So I'm gonna take this paper away. So I'm gonna go ahead and as a reminder to myself, I'm going to write number 14, 16, 18, and 20. We're gonna do multiplying by the decimal method. Okay, let's start with number 11. So all right, number 11, it says 30% of 70, okay? So first I'm going to write 30% of 70, and I'm going to circle the keywords 30% for key numbers, and then of 70. Using that information, I'm gonna set up my percent proportion. Now, the denominator on one side is always going to be 100 because that represents 100%. So above the 100% is where my 30% is going to go because it says percent. Now, where does of go? Remember how when we were doing our notes and I said your percent proportion looks like this. Percent over 100 equals is over of. So of always goes on the denominator. So of 70, 70 on the bottom, and then x is what you're going to have on top. Okay, now I'm going to solve towards the variable like this. Now, instead of doing 100 divided by what gives you 70, which you could try to divide, but as you see, you don't get a nice decimal. However, consider simplifying the fraction. 30 and 100 you can divide by 10. Let me give you a really quick shortcut for dividing by 10. Every time you have 1 0 on the numerator and another 0 on the denominator, you can just cross it out, and that's the same as dividing by 10. So now, instead of doing 100 divided by what is 70, you can just do 10 times 7 is 70. And so you can do 3 times 7, and the answer is 21. And that's it. That's the answer. Like that. Okay. Number 12, you have 75% of 48 I'm going to circle 75% and I'm going to circle of 48 and set up my percent proportion. 100 on the bottom, 75 on top, of 48, 48 on the bottom, x on top. Okay, again, I don't want to go from 100 to 48, so I'm going to try to simplify the fraction. 75 and 100, a common factor can be 25. So if I divide both of these by 25, 75 divided by 25 is 3. 100 divided by 25 is 4. Think of it like 3/4 and 4/4. Okay. Now, if you take a look, use a different color. 4 times 12 is 48. 3 times 12 is 36. That's the answer. All right. Number 13. I told you I'm not going to solve every problem, but I am going to do 13 and 14 and then go from there. So number 13, 45% of 45. What is 45% of 45? I'm going to circle 45%, I'm going to circle of 45, set up the percent proportion. 100 on the bottom, 45% on top, of 45, 45 on the bottom, x on top. Now, when I try to go from 100 to 45, so I'm going to divide 100, divided by 45. Again, you see a repeating decimal, so that's not going to work out. So I'm going to try to simplify this fraction. I'm going to simplify by 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 100 divided by 5 is 20. Now, I'm going to try 45 divided by 20 to see what I get. 45 divided by 20, I get 2.25, and that's okay. Okay, this is not a non-terminating decimal. It ends nicely. So you could do 20 times 2 and 25/100 is 45. So 9 times 2 and 25/100, and your answer is 20.25. 20 and 25/100, and that's the answer. Okay. Number 14. So 92% of 19. Remember, this is one of the problems that I said we're not going to do the percent proportion. We're going to use the multiplying by the decimal method. And the reason is because no matter what, if you try to do the percent proportion, it doesn't divide evenly. It's not going to give you a nice decimal to multiply. It's not going to give you a nice number right here. Okay? So we're just going to use the multiplying by the decimal method. So remember I said of means to multiply. So this is another way of saying 92% times 19 gives you the answer. Okay, oops. Okay. Sorry, that was my the 8-3 notes video that I recorded. My computer is letting me know that it's ready. Okay. All right, so before I multiply 19 times 92%, I cannot multiply 92%. I gotta first convert it to a fraction or a decimal. It's much easier to convert it to decimal. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do to the left. So I'm gonna do 92/100 times 19. And let's see what I get. 0.92 times 19. 17.48, 17 and 48/100, and that's the answer. Okay. All right, so you're also going to do 16, 18, and 20 using that strategy. And I'm looking at the rest. And 15 and 17 are easy. For 15 and 17, use that strategy. Once you set up the proportion, for both of them, you're going to see that you can just cross out one of the zeros each, and then you can easily multiply to find the answer. Okay? So those are 15, 17, and 19. All of them, you can use this strategy. Simplifying by dividing by 10, but rather than really dividing, just get rid of one of the zeros each, and then use multiplication to find the answer. 15, 17, 19. Okay? Numbers 16 and 18 and 20, you're going to use a decimal multiplication. Okay? But I am going to do numbers 21 and 22. And then I will do a few other problems. Okay? I might not solve them all. I might just set them up. Okay? We'll see. Number 21 is 175% of 54. So circle 175%, circle of 54. Let's go ahead and set up the proportion first. Always 100 on the bottom. Percent, 175% above 100. Of 54, 54 on the bottom. X goes on top. Okay, so now, when I try 100 divided by 54, it doesn't give you a nice decimal. So I'm going to try to simplify this fraction by dividing by 25. 175 divided by 25 is 7, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. Now I'm going to see if I can do this. So 54 divided by 4, 13.5. So that works. So 4 times 13.5 is 54. 7 times 13.5 gives you 13.5 times 7, 94.5. 94 and 5/10. And that's the answer. Okay. Number 22. 250% of 146. So 250% of 146. Let's go ahead and set it up. 100% always on the bottom. 250 on top. Of 146. So 146 on the bottom. X on top. Again, I'm going to simplify. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of each of the zeros. Okay. All right. Well, so I'm going to try 146 divided by 10 and see what I get. 146 divided by 10, 14.6. That's nice. So I'm going to, oh no, I messed up with the color. So I'm going to do 10 times 14.6 is 146. So 20 times 14.6 gives me 292. Okay, now I'm going to do the same problem one more time because I want to talk about something. 46, X is 40. Okay, so I have the same problem written twice. So again, I'm going to get rid of each of the zeros. But rather than doing 10 times 14.6, I'm looking at 25 and 10. I think I could still divide by 5, so I want to see what I get. So if I divide by 5 again, 25 divided by 5 is 5, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. So then if you want, you can do 2 times 73 is 146. So if you do 5 times 73, What's going on? What did I do wrong? Oh, my first answer was incorrect. That's why I wasn't getting the right answer. So I double checked here. I don't know what I did wrong, but I think I may have entered use the calculator wrong. So you should always be double checking. Okay, let me just talk about this again. So 10 times 14.6 is 146. So 25 times 14 and 6/10 is 365. That's the correct answer here. I messed it up. Sorry. So then now on here, I got rid of the 0, but I further simplified what I had left by 5. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And 2 times 73 is 146. So when I do 5 times 73, 365. Okay, so now I got the correct answer. So, same answer. Okay, a little different strategy. Okay, all right. Let's look at numbers 23 to 26. Number 23 is an error analysis. Describe and correct the error in finding 40% of 75. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this person did. 40% of 75 equals 40% times 75, okay? And then got 3,000. Do you see what this person did wrong? 40% of 75 equals 40% of, times, remember the big dot, that means multiplication, times 75 equals 3,000. Let's see. This is a problem just written, and then this is 40% times 75 and got 3,000. This person definitely did something wrong right here. What are you supposed to do with this 40% before you multiply by 75? You can't multiply a percent by a number. So you need to convert the 40% as a fraction or as a decimal. Let's see what I get if I change it to a decimal. To the left, it is 0.4 or 0.40 times 75. Let's see what that gives me. 0.40 times 75, it should just be 30. And you know what? Think about it. 40% of 75, that's like less than half of 75. How can that be 3,000, right? Okay, so I'm not going to give you word for word what the error is, but in your own words, you should be writing something along the line of, the person should have converted the 40% as a decimal by moving the decimal place 2 times to the left. Okay. Number 24. A town had about 2,120 acres of pine trees 40 years ago. Only about 13% of the pine trees remain. How many acres of pine trees remain? So in other words, they're asking for you to solve 13% of 2,120 acres that are left. Only 13% of this is left. How many acres is that? Okay. Let's go ahead and do percent proportion. 13% of 2,120. 100 on the bottom. 13% on top. 2,120. X on top. Okay. So first I'm going to use my calculator and see 2,120 divided by 100 is what? and you get a pretty nice answer, 21.2. So 100 times 21 and 2/10 is 2,120. So if I do 13 times 21 and 2/10, it'll give you the answer. 275 and 6/10 acres remain. That's the answer. Okay. Number 25, spider monkey. The tail of the spider monkey is 64% of the length shown. What is the length of the tail? Now, you take a look here. They're saying that the tail consists of 64% of the entire length. So they're asking you how many inches is the tail. And you can see in the picture right here, the entire length of the monkey is 55 inches. In other words, they're asking for you to find what is, what was the percent? 64? Yeah. What is 64% of 55 inches? That's what they're asking. Because this much out of 55 inches is the tail, the length of the tail. So, oh, and this one, hold on. Yeah, we'll just do percent proportion method. 64% of 55. So you guys need to practice. 100% on the bottom, 64% on top, 55 on the bottom, x on top. Okay, so when you try to solve towards the variable, if you try 100 divided by 55, again, you get not a very nice number. So I'm going to simplify this fraction. 64 and 100, you can divide by 4. So 64 divided by 4 is 16. Okay. And then 100 divided by 4 is 25. Okay. So now I'm going to try 55 divided by 25. And this time it gives you a nice 2.2. So 25 times 2.2 is 55. So 16 times 2.2, 16 times 2.2, 35.2 inches is the length of the tail. I'm sorry, I'm distracted because my kids outside is kind of screaming. My daughter's saying, no, 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 in Korean. Okay. Last one, number 26. Okay, a family pays 45% each month for cable television. The cost increases 7%. Ooh, the price is going up 7%. So, A, it says how much is the increase? So for A, I need to find out what 7% of $45 is because that's how much it's going to go up. Okay, how much is the increase? So I need to do 7% of $45. Now, I made a note here that it'll be better to just do the multiplying by the decimal, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is why you should watch the whole homework help video. I'm going to move this decimal 2 times to the left. Add a 0. So this means I'm going to be doing 0.07, 700 times, of means times 45. I'm running out of room here. Let's see how much it's going up. 0.07 times 45, $3.15. So it's going to increase $3.15. That's the answer for A. Now let's do B. It says, what's the new monthly cost? Which means I need to do $45 plus $3.15. You can use a calculator and it'll give you $48.15. But I'm gonna say, what if you didn't have a calculator? So I do want to show you this. Okay, I'm running out of room here. When you're adding or subtracting decimals, you must line up the decimal points. 45 doesn't have a decimal, so I'm gonna put an invisible decimal point and add 2 zeros. That way, when I add $3.15, they're going to line up. Now, adding from top to bottom, so 1 decimal point, 8, and 4. So the new cost is going to be $48.15. And that's how you do it. Okay, thank you.